So what happens to me, I guess, when I step into Wuji posture, there's already a realignment, an emotional, spiritual, there's something that changes without even doing any movement yet, just finding ourselves into Wuji posture. So this would be your first class, I guess. So bring your feet shoulder width apart. And there's a bit of looseness in the knees, so not too bent. And of course, definitely not locked in. It could be just unlocked, and that's fine if that's comfortable. Otherwise, let your knees bend a little bit. And allow your pelvis to rotate forward, so the pelvic bone will come forward a bit more, as if you were sitting down. And then pick up your shoulders, bring them back, let them fall. Without using muscles to keep them back, just finding a place where you're opening your chest a bit more. And then aligning your head on top of all this. So we want to find a place where all your muscles, all your body weight is borne by the bones, all the way down into where you feel your feet on the ground. So I didn't start with that tonight. So notice where your weight falls in your feet right now. The one way to find this, I mean, is by letting your body rock forward until you feel the edge of the toes. And then you go back until you feel the edge of the heels where you might fall over. And then find a spot. So that the way that it's often taught is to find a spot that's halfway between this. And typically for me, that's not quite right. I need to edge it forward a little bit until I feel the weight falling into or resting into the ball of the foot, the feet. And then in Qigong also we're taught to let our arms float out a little bit as if you're holding balls underneath your arm. So as you get to feel your roots settling in, so another way, like in Tai Chi, for instance, as you let your roots settle in, the arms naturally want to float. There's like a relaxation, like returning into what we teach in Aikido as the natural angle. So when you relax, your arms, your hands have a natural flexibility to them. Same thing with the arms. So everything is relaxed there. So that if you let yourself relax completely without losing your structure, the weight should fall into the feet. The moment your weight is too far back, when you relax, you're gonna fall over. So, and this is the sensitivity that I'm hoping you're developing every time you step into this posture, is finding the place where you can let your weight rest all the way down into your feet. So already this is a really good meditation. You could just do that as a meditation right now. And stepping into, from there, you step into holding the tree, right? So typically it's done here. So you could even just feel that right now, because that requires quite a bit of awareness to just find our arms in this posture here. So, and then letting your arms settle down again. So we're not going to go, this is a bit more advanced practice. We're not necessarily going to go there tonight for the benefits of those who are already exploring. Okay, so let's bring down the heavens. So breathing in, palms down, breathing earth energy, and at shoulders, you turn your palms, welcoming heaven's energy into the front of the body. So we're sweeping all the worries of the day, the distractions of the day, of work, of responsibilities, down into the ground. Do that 2 more times. Again, earth, and then heaven, and then sweeping now the back areas of the body. Again, letting go of the worries, preoccupations, old stories. And a third time. This is all breath in, and then on the breath out, you bring now through the brain, through the head, brain, neck, chest, abdomen, center of legs, all the way down into the ground. And as you get to your feet, imagine this sweep now continuing into the ground, dissolving in the ground, and creating a root below you, anchoring you into the wisdom of the earth. So in this tradition of medical Qigong, most of our movements, if not all of them, have all an intent of helping the body function better. It's implied in all Qigong, essentially, but certainly in medical Qigong, it's always taught that way. So imagine now that your flesh fingers extend into light fingers. And then we're going to bend forward and let these light fingers reach into the center of the inside of the legs. So the inner surfaces of the legs, the front of the body, the armpits, and the front of the arms. And you gather that at the wrist and shake it out. And then the back of the wrists, side and back of the head, letting those fingers reach into the back as well, side and back of the legs, all the way to the ankles, gathering here and shaking it out. So let's do that 2 more times. So letting your mind travel to the center of each surfaces that your fingers are gliding over. And then this third time, before coming up, reaching into the earth's energy pool, if you would, the wisdom that's there. And as you come up and you breath in, you bring that up into your lower dantian, lower center of energy below the belly button, and you seal that in. 3 times one way, 3 times the other. We're going to do a little bit of frog bouncing on the pad tonight because I want to introduce another exercise. It's a review for some and an introduction for others. We bring our feet together and we'll let our body shake. So the movement here is focusing on the down, letting your tendons and ligament catch the down and bounce you back up. So, and you want to introduce this movement or let that movement articulate your spine into the wave that it is or that it should be. Letting your breath be free, continuous. Letting the wave that you generate from your legs loosen up. Spine, the arms, the shoulders, the wrists, the neck. Letting your heels come off the ground on the up so that as you go into the down movement, it's a bit of a tap in the heels. So now producing a vibration right down into the bones themselves. So dislodging stagnations right from the core of our marrow. So in Chinese medicine, marrow is a bit more an expanded concept. It's not just the bone marrow, but it's also the cerebrospinal fluid, the brain. There was something else, the spine itself. That's right. So do it at your, Carla, do it on your own speed, right? Like trust what feels good right now. You don't have to make it big. And then returning to just frog bouncing on the lily pad. And then stopping calmly. And just noticing what this movement has activated in your body. So a number of times recently, I've come across how this is essentially just like the rebounding exercise that are being promoted right now as one of the easiest exercise to help the body heal. And this was in a program on cancer, how to help cancer naturally. And this was one of the most recommended exercise, the rebounding. We're doing it on our own here. You don't have to bring your rebounder anywhere. So we'll add to this tonight, stacking up the bones. So this is a way to deepen your meditation into structure, into your root. So starting at your toes, imagine now bringing the feet on top of the toes, ankles over the feet, and then the legs stack on the ankles, the knees over the lower legs, sorry. And gradually bring your attention up through the pelvis and then into the spine. So aligning the spine, one process at a time, all the way into the neck, into the head. And you may choose to have your arms out or in. You can come up higher and then drop suddenly, dropping the post and then shaking it out a little bit. So we'll do that a couple more times. This is a really good way to know whether you're developing a root or going up. So the tendency when we go up is to bring all our awareness up here. We become top heavy. So when you see people walking on and then they come up here, you'll see they get all wobbly because they're actually bringing their awareness into up here. So this is not wrong, but you want actually to bring your awareness in your feet. That's where stability is, not up here. This is just helping. So when we come up here, it's the same thing. You come up gradually from the toes. That's where you want your first awareness, and then you build on top of each other like this. So if you find yourself wobbling, you're probably spending too much mental energy into figuring out what's right. So then find your toes on the ground and calm your mind down into the toes or below. And then drop the post. And you shake it out. And one more time, stacking the bones. And you might find at certain nights this is more comfortable, and other times you want your arms in. Eventually, it shouldn't matter so much when the focus is in the right place. And then dropping. And shaking a little bit. And then returning to Uji posture. Okay, so take a moment again to notice where your weight is, what your structure is doing. Make adjustments. So what I want to share with you tonight is the story of old man searching for pearl, one of my favorite exercises. And we're going to be using sounds in this. So this part still of the workout is about helping the body release what no longer serves us. So there are going to be 3 sounds. The first one is a combination of, which is the healing sound for the lungs. We've covered that before. Then pa, we're going to go, well, I'll show the movement. Pa, the sound for the heart, and hu, the sound for the spleen. Hu. Pa and hu. Hu. Yeah, it's like the spleen is all about nurturing and feeding ourselves. But in this case, the who is very much about like this sense of being held. So the story of old man, he's awake at night and it's cold, it's winter time, it's low tide, and he's down and out in his luck. Like there's not much money going on, but it's a full moon outside. So he's thinking, I should go look for pearls. So he said, well, on the way out, I'm going to bring the buckets and empty them at, the outhouse bucket, whatever, from the house. So he's carrying his shit with him, right? So you want to, no, you're not carrying shit. You're not carrying shit like this. It's going everywhere on you. And they're like, no, no, no. Like when you're carrying shit. Yeah, that's right. It feels more like the heaviness in life, right? So open up first before we do this exercise, this place where life at times feels heavy or maybe where so we're going to give ourselves permission to feel the places that are heavy in our life. It might be a little heavy, it might be big heavy. Trust what you're willing to go into. So feel like, let your body, open your body into feeling this. So you're going out, the buckets are gone now, and we come up into a tide pool, and then there's this biggest pearl that fisherman has ever seen. He's thinking, man, like if I can get this pearl, that will solve all my woes. Like I'll be safe for the rest of my life. So he wants the pearl, right? So the first movement on this, I'll bring the camera down a little bit so people can see. I'll demonstrate it first. So we're gonna breathe up here and then go down, and then we're gonna splash the tide pool this way with the sound of. So we need that a little bit, and then on the breath in, we'll come up, and then that's where the ha sound will be and where the hu sound will be. Okay, so that gives you an idea. All right. So this is an exercise actually that for people who have advanced illness, they're invited to do this 64 times. We're not going to go that far tonight. 64-3, you'll see what I mean by this. Okay, so here we are feeling the heaviness. And you come against before this pool with the biggest pearl. It's like, oh, I want this. A big breath in, and then bend forward and splash. And of course, you're not finding the pearl. So in exasperation, you come back up as you breathe in, and you realize, oh, it was the moon all along. Ha. Ooh. Again. Ha. Ooh. And one more time. Ha. Ooh. Okay. Clear everyone on this? All good over there too? Okay. So we'll do that 2 more times. And breathing in. And then coming up as you breathe in, seeing the moon. Ha. Ooh. Ha. Ooh. Ha. Ooh. Okay, so when you go looking at the moon, be really aware of not angling your neck this way. It's mostly coming from here. Your eyes look up, but there's not too much. You don't want to put undue flexion in your neck, right? That's really important here. Okay, third time, breathing in. And coming up on the in breath. Oh. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh. And then returning to Uji posture. So I actually did this once with a friend who was going through a cancer diagnosis, and we went through a number of emotions in the 64 times. It was actually quite interesting, unexpected at times. Okay, so we'll complete the first phase of this general healing workout with trembling horse, another one of my favorite ones. Yeah, that's right. So the question was the number of ha's and who's. So yeah, that sequence that shows that makes one cycle, the ones and then three ha who's. Okay. No. So 64 is people who advance in their practice in Qigong, especially we can become therapists and masters in medical Qigong. It's, yeah, so you do it more often during the training, but it's actually meant at that level for people who have a really strong stagnation, like a cancer or other advanced diseases like this, because it really works at dislodging deep stagnation. So for most of us common mortal tonight, 9 would probably be a good practice, and we could try that one night. So that's a good question too. Right. Um, that you'll find at different teachers. So the question was a number of repetitions, 8 versus 9. Um, you'll find different teachers making different focuses. Yeah. We in our practice, we tend to have repetitions of numbers of 3s or 6 or 12s. You'll find that 40 organs, it's different. So the lungs is 9, the spleen is 5 or 10. So yeah, there's a general different focus depending on the tradition. Okay. Yeah, trembling horse. So trembling horse, no, you didn't do that. We did it here one night. So this is the one place where you're invited to trust how your body needs to move to release stagnation. So we're gonna make it happen first. So bring your hands up, starting with the fingers, and then going into the wrists, the hands, sorry, and then pass the wrists into the forearm, and then pass the elbows into the upper arms, and then into the shoulders, and then let it enter your spine, and then let it go into the hips and the legs. And here, like, let your body speak to you. So there's no right way to do this. You want to go in a place where you look like a floppy chicken, maybe. I don't know. And then we're going to take a big breath in, and then we do the horse. Breathe in as you come up. Okay. We'll do it once more by moving ourselves, right? And as you do this, like, pay attention, like, is there movements maybe to that want to happen? You might find that the hands don't move necessarily the same way, or the arms, or it might not be symmetrical. I guess that's what I'm looking at here. And then gradually letting more of your body being involved. And then letting it speak to you from every part. And then breathing in. And breathing in again as you come up. Okay, so on the third time, let's do it slightly differently. Bring myself in center of the camera again. So this time, before you move, bring your awareness in your fingers and notice how they want to move. And maybe in your hands, And maybe it'll feel like you're actually making it happen. So just be open. So from the fingers into the hands, to the wrists, the forearms, and letting the movement happen here on its own. Elbows, maybe let one arm be a focus for a moment and pay attention here and let the other one come in. And so the body has a natural ability to release tensions. That's kind of what happens when we fall asleep at night. And then all of a sudden you get this jerk in one of your muscles. That's the body releasing spontaneously. So I tend to feel it most when I pay my attention to the spine. It feels more core-like. And then breathe in. And come up with the breath in and yeah. So let's bring down the heavens. Palm down until shoulders, palms up. Completing the releasing of old energies from the front. Essentially inviting now your healing wisdom to complete the impact of the exercises or add its own in the back of the body now too. And then down the center. Good. And then adjusting your posture, noticing what's different. But yeah, we're not sealing here because we're actually completing. Right? Yeah, you might not want to seal that in. The invitation was to actually complete so the first stage of medical Qigong exercises or treatments is always about removing the stagnation, things that no longer serve us. And the next set of exercises invites now new energy in. Now you'll see, especially in the healing workout, when we do the counter swing, for instance, we're already bringing new Qi in here and then using that new Qi to release old Qi, right? So we'll do that again probably next week. But I wanted to introduce the old man story tonight, one of my favorites. Okay, so going into the nourishing part, the tonifying, as we say in Chinese medicine. So here, the first exercise that we do is the 5 yang opening. So the number of components on this, for the benefits of people online, especially those who've not done too many sessions yet together. So there's a movement of the body and there's a movement of Qi of this. So the movement of the body is here. So we breathe in here and then breathe out this way. So as you breathe in, the belly goes out. As you breathe out, the belly goes in. And you want to really force that movement or emphasize, force, emphasize, exaggerate. So that's the body movement. Okay, so the Qi movement, for those who might be able to include both, we start with our awareness on the perineum, the base of the body. And as you breathe in, imagine this energy coming up your spine to just below the second lumbar vertebrae. So kind of the bottom of your ribs, if you want, that at that level. So that's the in breath. On the out breath, the Qi comes back down the front. And then if you notice, when I brought my arms back, there was this flick in the wrists, and that this is to emphasize this motion of the Qi. And you might find that when you bring the belly in, that naturally there's something that happens inside. It feels that way. So we're actually circulating Qi inside and we're moving our body. So this is the 5 yang opening, very active, very intense in movement here. Okay, so again, starting from correct Uji posture, breathing in, bring the Qi up, belly out, belly in, Qi down. So we'll do a few more of these. We can slow it down a little bit. It might be easier to bring it to a conclusion. So on the next in-breath, stop in front, and then let your arms settle down in the out-breath. Very active. You might notice like how that little bit that we did activates the chi quite a bit. So the next one is 5-yin opening, much gentler. We're gonna, so this is the one time where I'm gonna invite you to really allow your spine to move with each segment of the spine. And I'll explain later where that movement be different in other exercises. So in this case here, we breathe in, so the arms are up, and imagine going down. I like to picture for me is like going for a dive into the big pool of chi of the earth, one vertebrae at a time. So it's very slow. You might need to cycle to your breath a number of times in order to come down. And you want to keep bending here forward. And for those you can, you want to come down all the way into a crouch. And if you can't go that far in, that's okay. Trust your body. And at the bottom, imagine gathering a big stone here. And you're going to reverse the movement. So one vertebrae at a time as you breathe in. And reversing the movement. Again, cycling through in and out of breaths as you need to come up to a full in breath up here, and then we go down again. Bring that big boulder, reversing the movement. Now we'll do that one more time, just 3 times tonight. Trusting the speed that works for you, especially when you're going to do that on your own. And then letting your hands settle down on the out breath. Again, adjusting your posture. Okay, so now we're going to go through the tonic exercise for each of the 5-yin organs, beginning with the lung and the metal element. So the tonic color for the color that is tonifying or nourishing for the lungs is white, bright white. So we bring our hands in front. Imagine holding a bungee cord here or something like this that you're going to stretch on the in-breath in front of you, gathering white into your lungs. Then on the out-breath, letting your arms come back together. So the healing sound for the lungs is here. We breathe in white. You can close your eyes on the in-breath if you wish. Might help you to visualize the white gathering into your lungs. And open your eyes on the out-breath. those who want to include the number of repetitions for the lungs, we normally do this exercise in multiples of 9. 9 is sufficient for our purpose tonight. We'll do a couple more. That might be more than 9. Somebody's counting. Okay, last one. On this in breath, imagine now gathering the white, you bring it right into your lungs. And any excess you may have gathered, you can direct towards the lower center of energy, the lower center of the lower dantian. You can seal it in 3 times if you wish. Let's breathe. Yes, I'll remember all the numbers. So we go then from the metal element to the water element and the domain of the kidney and urinary bladder. So the tonic color here is a deep blue, marine blue. Sometimes some books will talk about dark, like even black, depending on the author. And then the healing sound is a kind of 2-syllable sound. Churi, churi. It's a Chinese sound. Churi, make it as Chinese as you can imagine. Okay, so bringing one hand in front here as if you're shielding yourself from the sun. And close your thumb into the fingers of the other hand. And place this either right on the spine at Mingmen or on the same kidney as this here, as this hand. So breathing in here. So I'm going to invite you, actually, before we do that, let's review again. This is a number of people, it's just the first few practices. The movement, when we get down here, this is where you want to move from the hips as opposed to the back. So we're actually going down into that one leg and then shifting to the other leg. So I'm actually going to bring the camera around. Let's pull those away. So as you turn, you're going to drop into this one leg. As far as feels comfortable for you, you're going to be scooping down. And then at the bottom, you shift your weight to the other leg before you come up. And then you come up into this leg. And at the top of the scoop, you want to imagine that water that we're going to gather, that deep blue, coming down your arms, across your shoulder bar, and down this other arm into that kidney. So there's the visualization. But what I want to draw your attention to is this movement here that's happening from the hips as opposed to from the back, which would look very different. Okay? So from the hips. Okay. Back to starting, and I'll change the camera again. Okay. So here, breathing in. Doesn't matter which side you start. And out. Sure. So when you reach the bottom, this is where you shift to an in breath, gathering the deep blue, breathing that in all the way to here. And as you shift to the out breath, the chi pours across your arm. The churi is already happening. There's a lot in this exercise. So you might want to maybe focus first on bringing the chi in. This is what we're doing, right? Churi. Closing your eyes on your in breath if you wish, and eyes open on the out breath. Churi. Churi. Do a couple more. Churi. Sure. So on this last one, we come up, center, letting the chi transfer into the kidney first, and changing sides. So the number of repetition for the kidneys is actually 6. Breathing in and going down the other side. Sure. 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 And let's do one more. Sure. Again, completing the exercise in the center. And when you have a sense that you've transferred the chi, and if you widen your sense, bring it back closer to Uji posture, and notice what's different. Exercise. Okay, so we're moving into the wood element of the liver. The healing color for the liver is the green of spring, kind of yellowish, vibrant, alive, new leaves, green. And the sound is shu. Now the liver is continuously breaking down molecules, making new molecules. So this exercise focuses on bringing in and pushing out, so that the both at the same time. Now there's also a hip movement in this, and the way that it's described is that we want to imagine that we're drawing a smile. Right? So wherever you start here, you go down and up, down and up. So the place where I'm down, we're pushing to the opposite, actually. Yeah. So wherever you're put emphasis on one leg, now change your arm. Yeah, okay, that's it, that way. And then you go to the other side. So opposite for you too. That's it. So this is very much like Tai Chi actually too. Like the leg that's weighed is usually the yang leg and yang arm, right? So there should be a place here where, yeah, that's right. So because now we're doing both bringing in and pushing out, the breaths are done in and out in series of 3. So we do 3 in breath, and then 3 out. Shu, shu, shu. Bringing in green, and shu, 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 shu. I can see who's been practicing gathering your wisdom. Shu, shu, shu. So we're going to slow this down a little bit. Shu, shu. In Qigong, especially in the Taoist philosophy, there's always a reason why we experience things. So as we let go from our liver, experiences that are irritating, that are annoying, that leads us to feel angry or maybe ragey, we welcome on the in-breath the wisdom. So now you welcome the wisdom here. Out. Shu, 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 shu. There's a lot to think about, right? shoo, shoo, shoo. And then when we complete this exercise, we let our arms still move similarly, but now as if we're walking down a path. So now we're actually moving to the exercises for the heart, the exercise for the heart. And we're moving along this path, and then we see the sun on the ground. So the color for the heart is a shade of red. Say, if you can work with red if you want, it's a bit intense. You might want to pick something closer to pink. Some people choose green, the chakra color. And the healing sound is Ha. We've already explored that once tonight. So bringing that sun to the heart level here. And the sun, of course, belongs in the sky. So here we breathe in the color of our choice as we put the sun up in the sky. So it would be the opposite hands. So yeah, that's right. And that elbow is a bit higher. So the elbow that's facing forward here, and then my foot is also pointing in that direction. Okay. So that's the in breath, gathering the color of your choice. And then on the out breath, you bring the sound ah through the heart. And then breathe in the color on the other side. Ah. Ah. So the hand that's up, this elbow is here, right? So we're keeping this really close to us here. Ah. Imagine holding a ball as you do this. You're holding the sun throughout. So when I'm up here, I'm still holding the ball underneath here. Ah. Something like that. Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, ultimately we're moving, right? The intent here is helping the heart. So yeah, that's the way that it feels. Yeah, that's right. Here you go. Right. So you're holding the sun throughout, and then when you bring it back in front, there's still this sense of holding the sun here. Ah. 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 So one more time each side. Ah. And then returning to center. So here we're invited to let go of any excess heat we may have accumulated in the exercise. You breathe in the center here, and you release that excess heat on the out breath. So typically we go right into this exercise for the spleen. So I want to cover, before we do that, movement of the hips for this one. I will be bring a lot of emphasis on this because there's the reason why I focus on the hips is that we want to protect the knees for one, but also when we move from the hips, there's a lot of power that's generated because it emphasizes having the root. So when we stand properly and move properly, chi flows naturally. And in that place, we help our body best, but also if you're interested in that direction, this can also generate enough energy that if somebody wants to mess with you, you can use that power to invite them to not mess with you. Yeah, that would be a very politically correct way to express this. Yeah. Okay, so from here, we're gonna have our hands up here when we do this exercise. But what I want to focus on first is that you're gonna turn on one side and drop into that leg. The moment you've dropped in the leg, the hips and legs don't move anymore. from here, it's happening from the hips up, right? So everything will rotate above the hips. So that's the out breath all the way down here, around here, which makes sense. As you breathe in, you come back and up, down on the other side, and from there, it's just the upper body. Okay, so on the next in breath, we'll come in golden yellow. And in the out breath, the sound is whoo. You can have your eyes closed if you want on the in breath. And open on the out breath. Whoo. So in this exercise now, the fingers are actually touching to form a triangle. Whoo. And you imagine that this triangle is guiding the sunlight, if you would, right into your brain, if you want, through the third eye, on the eyebrow level. Ooh. Ooh. Let's do this one more time each side. Ooh. 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 And then coming back to center. And then you're going to shift your triangle so that it's pointing at heavens now, and it's welcoming heavens, like the heavenly bodies, the light of the heavenly bodies, right through that triangle, right into your crown. And let's take 3 breaths here, 3 full breaths. And in the third out breath, you can let your hands settle down back to Uji posture. And we're going to gather a little bit more chi this time, which with the geriatric form of the total breathing, because it's the easiest one to explain for tonight. And it might be, again, the most politically correct for this stage of our learning. And you'll know why eventually when I introduce the other one. Okay, so we're going to breathe in again. Hold on. No, it's out breath. We breathe in on the way down. This time it's reverse. So breathing out. I'm going to take 3 breaths in, one after the other, like this, with the thumbs inside. Hold 5 seconds, say, and then let go of the breath, but keep the chi in. So what you want to imagine as you do this as well, that the pelvic floor is closed, not clenched, closed, so that there's a small distinction here. And the pelvic floor actually, well, our teacher is really clear that we don't want to be in this place where we let the bottom sag, because that's a huge loss of chi. So this is always kind of a held pose. This is the easiest way that I can express that way. So breathing out again. Closing the thumbs and breathe in 3 times. And hold. Keeping the chi in, releasing the breath. We'll do that one more time. Releasing the breath. Oh, you can go ahead. Bring it in, seal it in. So this is a way to really pack the chi in. And the other one we do actually uses the muscles around the anus, and we'll explore that eventually. So closing. So the anus is the gate of Po. This is where like our eventually our corporeal gate of Po. Yeah, you're right. It makes sense, right? That's right. Right. Okay, let's bring down the heavens, inviting now our healing wisdom to complete the tonic, the nourishing in the front of the body, allowing the wisdom of your body to complete the nourishing. And then down the center. So you may be aware actually that with these exercises, there might be a calmness that come compared to even when we did the 5 yang opening, the 5 yin, there was an activation, especially the 5 yang. And now, at least for me, it feels like I feel quite balanced, which is that's the purpose of the whole healing workout, is to actually bring the internal environment in communication with each other. That's why we visit each of the yin organs, the most important organs in our body. So we'll complete this with the third stage. There's usually 2 exercises we do here. We'll do the one called the golden ball. So again, checking into your Wuji posture, and then letting your hands come up just in front of the lower dantian as if you're holding a beach ball. Okay? And so the arm movements here, breathe in into this position. On the out breath, the arms come apart. On the in breath, they come back towards the center. Out breath, they rise and open again on the next in breath. Then close on the out. Now they come in on the in breath and out and breathe in. So these are the 8 movements of qi. Qi disperses, out breath. Qi gathers. Qi rises, expands, contracts, pulls in, pushes out, and then descends. Imagine that this is happening through with moving your arms, but this is the whole body's engaging. It's not just your arms. Let your legs be involved, let your core be involved. Feel this as a whole body movement. Breathe in and out. Expands on the in breath and contracts. Pulls in. And last time. And descend. Return to that beach ball. And then imagine shrinking that ball now into a volleyball. Maybe a softball. Continue bringing it in. Tennis ball, a golf ball, all the way down to a pearl, white light. And then bring that pearl into your lower dantian. And then seal it in with 9 rotation expanding. So one way, going one way for 9 times. And then closing that the other way, concentrating the circles until you can imagine that this is happening inside, all the way into your gate of vitality. We're going to close this by putting colors into the energetic fields around the body. Again, using bring down the heaven, this time gathering the brightest white you can imagine. And then packing that around your body in all directions for 10 to 15 centimeters. This is the physical Wei Qi field, the protective layer around you. Second color is the beautiful winter blue sky of day, or flame blue. And then from the edge of the white, you extend that to 30 to 45 centimeters. And so this was the mental emotional field. Now we go into the spiritual field, gathering light pink, rose quartz. And then allowing this to be extending from the blue outwards. And let that go to 1 or 2 meters. Let that be a layer. I'll do one more thing with this. For me, this is a movement that allows me to experience the feels differently, actually. As I breathe in, the fingers are dipping into in the earth. And you feel this envelope around you in all directions. In the out breath, you just reverse that. So feeling that bubble around. This is how we present ourselves energetically. And bringing your feet together. So traditionally, in all the classes I've done so far, we finish with a salutation, recognizing each other's in this room that have been present tonight,